Hey everybody, it's Modesta Megamuguri from Purpose and Excellence. I am coming to you kind of reinforcing what I shared yesterday. So I posted this morning. It escapes me, I'm always posting. This morning I shared an image of my 3 books. Yay! Start Now with Purpose and a Masterplan, 32 Steps to Career Success and a Life of Significance, and the African Entrepreneur Startup Checklist. Hey Abdullahi, welcome. Thank you so much for your support. You're always there, man. Thanks. And of course I had a little story about the fact that I made, management sounds like senior manager. Fine, it was me manager, but I made a manager of a huge multinational at the age of 23. And I said it wasn't because of my technical acumen. Matter of fact, my background is legal and I came straight from university, so fresh law graduate who needed to pay her university debts in foreign currency, and so she wanted to get a job that paid, because with lawyers you go and you're doing your internship and ain't nobody trying to pay you there. You would be grateful to get an internship with a reputable organization. And so I got this role. Even at the interview, hey Albert, thank you so much. Even at the interview, I was asked, what do you know about HR? Do you know I had just researched what those letters HR stand for? I didn't even know what human resources was, but I could put 2 and 2 together. So I was like, all right, so a company needs people. I wasn't even an entrepreneur at that time. I mean, maybe I was an entrepreneur, but I hadn't thought of business yet. Companies, people, people work in company, what do they do? And so I spoke generally what I understood a company does. I had interned at PwC before I went to university, and so I got to see in those 6 months, what people are doing and the role of human resources, so to speak. But I really didn't know much else about it. And they initially offered me a role, which was nice. It combined my legal background and the human resources. I got to both work with people internally and influence how the organization was relating in the labor market. Beautiful. Only it was an employee relations officer position and it wasn't going to pay well, and I needed to pay well because remember, I had university debts and I had to help out with my brother's education and to help my mom. And so I turned that opportunity down. You're thinking, what? Huge global manufacturer, and you're turning it down. Fresh graduate, green as people say, fresh green. I love these words, feel like a vegetable. Fresh graduate, you don't have work experience, you get to work with a globally recognized brand. How do you turn it down? Well, it didn't work with my circumstance, and even then, I could put 2 and 2 together and say this setup is not going to work. And so I graciously said thank you, and I walked away. And I know I said this before, in 2 weeks or so, they got back to me and they had created a position for me that didn't even exist. Imagine a person who doesn't have experience, who doesn't have the technical background, and you take a chance on them and you create a management trainee position, which promised to get me to management within 2 years. Like I said in my post, I made manager within a year. How did all of this happen? Excuse me. How do I put it? Apart from my upbringing, where my mother just modeled certain behaviors, she's a person of excellence, she's a person of principle, she's a person who is not all in, I feel and maybe I'm not, my mother doesn't take well to victimhood. She understands that if it's to be, it's up to me. I need to move things for things to move in my favor. I learned that growing up. I also saw, with school, and I'm grateful to God, I've always been in positions of leadership, student president, and when I was little as monitor, etc. I understood that, you need to be self-motivated, that you don't do well because somebody's watching over you, but you do the best that can be done. That is a reflection of you. It's not just that I got the marks and I got the tick and somebody patted me on the back and said I've done well. And so I carried these over with me. I was confident. At the interview, they asked me, well, you don't have the background. It was the HR director speaking to me. You don't have the background. You just came from university. How do you know that you would do well? I said, everything I touch, I turn to gold. I'm self-driven. I do well. I will learn on the go. Matter of fact, since then, I've grown on the go. Oh, Prophet Andrew here. I need to focus. I'm focusing. And so, I said, I can do this. I know me, and I know that I deliver. And this woman took a chance on me. But very early into that role, I noticed that 6 out of 10, honestly, and it wasn't just entry level, from entry to senior management, 6 out of 10 people that would come in, or their CVs, I mean, the ratings were even worse. It was probably 9 out of 10 we had to turn away. And that didn't sit well with me. It wasn't enough that I was doing well and, people would say, oh, wow, well done. Oh, you're so young, or you're doing so well. I've always been a person who wants to lift other people. I mean, that's the entire reason why I became a lawyer in the first place. I became a human rights lawyer to lift other people up. And so I went to the CEO and I said, we need to do something. I understand that my work is to source the people, is to recruit people to do well for the company. I understand that. But the supply, the caliber of people we're getting, given our ambitious vision and given the numbers we're expecting to have in and the caliber of people we're looking for, we will not be able to get those unless we invest in the educational system. And I remember him saying, oh, Modesta, he always had this, not condescending, I don't know, maybe he had airs. He was like, Modesta, look, we're not a non-profit, okay? We're here for profit. We're here to do, and he had this very strong, American accent. We're here to do for the business. And so please focus on getting in the numbers. Marketing needs 200 people this year, blah, blah, blah. And he was just telling me there's only so much we can do in the marketplace. But we just need to focus on you recruiting the people we need. Focus, Modesta, recruit the people we need for the company. But that didn't sit well with me because I am a Tanzanian. At 23, I am, a manager, mid-manager, fine, but a manager of a multinational, not an insipid multinational, of a huge global brand. And I am turning away fellow Tanzanians daily. I'm turning away their CVs and they never get feedback. They don't know why, their CV wasn't selected. I am turning away people at interviews and we weren't doing feedback to the people who didn't make it. We were only speaking to the people who actually made it because the volumes that I had to bring in were phenomenal. And so I'm thinking these people are going to go take the very same CV to the next place. By the way, do not take the same CV to different organizations. You need to tailor your CV. That is a whole conversation for another day. Excuse me. And they were going to interviews and presenting themselves the very same way. And somebody had to tell them, somebody had to stop them that you can't do that. You have to present yourself differently. Hey, son, welcome. You have to present yourself differently. And so both, because I did actually need a high caliber of people coming in for the organization and what it wanted to achieve in that, business, the strategic period. But also as a Tanzanian, I wanted to make sure I can speak to my brothers and sisters and say, guys, we are not exhibiting the right skills. It's not enough that you have a high GPA. It's not enough that you had A's in your A levels and your Form 6 as well, or your high school. But the skill sets that the market demands, their problem solving, their innovation, it's creative. It's creative thinking. It's providing solutions on the go. It's thinking 360, thinking of the business, thinking like an owner. It's going over and beyond what your job description requires, over and beyond the call of duty, over and beyond what your manager and your supervisor is looking, over you over. It's over and beyond the instructions and the manuals, Think 360. What is the complexity here? Look at how you can pull out the strands, identify each thing and have a strategy on how to unravel it and how to tackle it and how to solve it. Be a problem solver. These are the skill sets. Be bold and courageous. If you dissent, say that. I don't think this is the best way to go about it. This may not be the right timing for it. If you've done wrong, you say it. If you want to try something different, propose it. Hey, mama, my mama I love is here. If you want to do something different, I just got to move on, right? You want to do something different, propose it. These are the skills that they're looking for. This is how. I remember there was this gentleman, so we were downsizing, but also there were people that had been there. This organization had been in the country for decades, and there are people who had been there since 1961. I mean, that's when we had independence. And they had to go. Some were retiring, but some were just not effective. And I remember at one of the meetings where we had to let go of this gentleman, he said, "My daughter, this place has been my entire life. Where am I supposed to go now? What is supposed to happen to my family now? I don't have any other skills than the skills to run these machines. What are you trying to say now? Are you trying to take me to an early grave?" That man knew nothing else other than what he had to do. He was like my grandfather to me. I'm 23. I'm a manager. And I am in charge of who comes in and who leaves and who stays on what terms. That didn't sit well with me. My conscience would not allow me to just do my job and get on with it. Just bring in the numbers because the business needed it. And so I've written these books. The reason I'm doing this thing is because I want to follow up on the post that I just put out. I wrote Start Now with Purpose and a Masterplan because a lot of people see January 1st come in and then December 31st comes year in, year out, and they're busy and they're moving and they're doing things, but they're not really seeing their lives elevated. They're not really seeing growth in their lives, growth for their families, growth in the impact that they have. They're not affecting society in any way positively, and they wonder what is not happening. And especially where people have invested a lot for our education. Whether it is you've done it yourself, whether it is family did that for you, and they're expecting to see returns. Sometimes there is this one child or parents will say, and honestly, this is what my mother did. My mother did not. My mother has not invested in things and properties. And my mother invested in us. My mother invested in our education. Now, of course, she didn't do that so that we can come back and take care of her, which we will do anyway. But a lot of people do that. They invest in their children's education because they realize that ignorance, no, it is not bliss. Ignorance has cost them greatly. Ignorance cost, the generation during independence greatly in Africa. It has cost the generation that has been transitioning to privatization and to, market, economies. It's cost them. Being ignorant has cost them. And so they said, whatever we went through, our children will not go through. And so they've been invested in their children to do well. Hey, Remy, welcome. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the likes. Now imagine the investment you probably made for yourself. Imagine the investment your family, probably extended family, put to your education. And then you come up and you meet somebody like Modesta who says, "I'm sorry, you don't have what it takes." Or probably just dismisses your CV and your interview and doesn't even give you feedback on why you didn't have what it takes. Hi, Ferdowswa, welcome. You who's had everybody investing in education. You who is the beacon of hope for the extended family. And no one is telling you why your CV doesn't cut it. Nobody is telling you why, thank you so much, why, you didn't get through the interview. And so you take the same CV place to place. You take the same, interview, the way you've interviewed. Hey, Gloria, welcome, place to place. I just had somebody contact me on LinkedIn. I haven't responded to her yet, and I have to. She's saying, "Oh, I admire you. I work at such and such a place, and I want to do this. What do you have to say to me?" She spoke in such general terms. She was just spewing adoration. God bless her, and I'm grateful that she admires me. But she wasn't giving me anything for me to work with. For people who don't have the time, for people who are assessing thousands upon thousands of other CVs, thousands upon thousands, interviewing hundreds and hundreds of people, they don't have time to process fluff. They don't have time to process sentiment. They don't have time. Hi, Grace, my sister Grace is here. They don't have time to feel sorry for you. Excuse me, to pull you on the side and tell you, what is happening and what is not happening, that your dress code wasn't right, that you didn't sound like a person of vision, a person who's going anywhere. You sounded like you're going to be a lot of work. You didn't sound like a person who would hit the ground running, and so they cannot work with you. People don't usually give us feedback. So I wrote Start Now with Purpose and a Masterplan so that you can learn how to have a vision, how to set goals, how to have daily strategies and actions that will get you to where you need to go. Because most people won't come and hold your hand and tell you. I wrote 32 steps, career success, and a life of significance, because a lot of people will not tell you why your CV didn't cut it. A lot of people will not tell you why you didn't do well at the interview and you weren't considered for the next position. Or maybe you made it to the next position and you don't know why you weren't shortlisted and now can get the job. You don't know what didn't work out. And sometimes they actually say from the very beginning, we only respond to successful applicants. And so no, you will not hear from us. And so you take the same CV. You have the same interview performance. You dress the same way. You present yourself the same way. You hold yourself the same way every single place, and you are rejected and you don't know why. And I wrote these books, guys, so that you can hear from a person who once looked for a job, a person who once wondered why 1st of January is coming, 31st of December comes, and my life is still the same. I know I'm a doer. I know I'm a visionary. I know that, God has put me on this earth for greatness, but why am I not seeing greatness? Why am I not seeing the connection between all that I want to be and do and what I am doing now? Why isn't it yielding what I needed to yield? Why am I stuck? I wrote these books to get you unstuck. I wrote these books to give you the insight, the principles, the skills, the subtle nuances, the things people are looking for that they usually don't say. It's the words that you're using. It's the way you hold yourself. It could be the way that you're interacting with other people that maybe they think you're not going to be a team player. And I wrote the African Entrepreneur Startup Checklist for anybody who's saying, I'm straddling both employment and entrepreneurship because I eventually one day want to use my side hustle for the final thing that I want to do. Or you're saying, employment is not for me. I want to start business from the bat, but I want to make sure that I do it well. And listen, these books are written solely for the African context. I have had people for the past going to 16 years, it's actually 16 years, I might as well say because it's 1 month shy of 16 years, saying, Modesto, your focus on Africa is isolating a lot of other people that you can speak to. Why are you only speaking to Africans? Why don't you just say that you're coaching professionals? Why aren't you just training professionals? Why aren't you just in human capital development just generally? I mean, why isn't just emerging markets, for instance, for that matter? Why are you so passionate about Africa? Don't you feel like you're narrowing down and that could work against you to just speak to Africans? And I do not think so. It is key that you know what I went through, which I went through in Africa. What I went through as an entrepreneur who learned the hard way, and it cost me and it cost the people who stood with me because of ignorance. And there was no justification because it was still in the age of information and I should have known better. But I made the mistakes, the startup mistakes that I made. I want you to learn from that. What I've learned as a person who is looking to get, jobs. Then as a person who is assessing, vetting, selecting, sieving out people who are looking for jobs, and not just entry level, up to board leadership. Then as a person who is also assessing other people and their businesses, I'm currently coaching and consulting in business development. I am on boards in organizations and businesses that are making impact and want to do so profitably and have, purpose and meaningful engagement. My entire experience thus far, I have put it together in those books. Start now with Purpose A Masterplan. You have to start with 2020 vision in 2020. 2020 is perfect vision. When you get your eyes checked, when they say you have 2020 vision, that means you have perfect vision. You have to start out with 2020 vision. You must. You owe it to yourself. I was a person who would say, I'm a child of God. What is for me is for me. No weapon formed against me will prosper. Nothing will ever work against me. I am going to do great things, and all of these things which I knew to be true of myself, but I wasn't seeing happening in my life. And I didn't want to go back and say, God, what is not happening? Because I know God's word to be true. I know that God is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. And so why wasn't the vision that I have and everything that I am doing, because I'm not just sitting there, I am doing, why aren't I seeing the connection? Why aren't I seeing the results? And it wasn't because I am, cursed, and it wasn't because I have demons, and it wasn't because, and I'm not saying that those things cannot plague people, because that is also true. If you don't believe in it, that's fine, but that is also true. That can also be a hindrance. Hey, Peter, it's like a hi, Brighton. But it was because I actually just did not know that it's not enough to have vision. You need to narrow down on the mission that you're working with, on the market niche that you're working with. You need to have goals, very specific, smart goals that you can measure and you can achieve within a certain time. You need strategies. Yes, I have goals, but how are you going to execute them? And then the daily actions, the weekly goals that'll hold you accountable until that you see a connection between what you do every day. Hey, Isabel, welcome. And what you ultimately want to see manifest in your life. So I was there. I am a person of greatness. I was put on the earth at such a time as this, and I'm going to do these great wonders. I have prophecies, guys. I had visions. I had word from the Lord myself. I heard him myself. I would read the word, and the word would come out to me, but I wasn't seeing the results. And there are many areas I'm still tweaking. I am on this program right now. It's a coaching program that I think is just going to transform my life. I've done it for the past 6 months, and then 6 months, 6 weeks, it's actually I've done it a little longer, and now I'm going to continue with it sustainably, because I too need inputting. I too have blinders in some areas. I have areas that I do not know, but it is not good enough to say I don't know. We cannot say foreigners are coming in, they're taking our jobs. Foreigners coming in, they're setting up businesses and they're competing with us, and nobody's doing anything about them. Where are you when that is happening? The foreigner isn't against you. The national who studied outside isn't your enemy. You need to learn what it takes. You never hear me, guys. You have never, in all the years you've known me, say, it's because I'm a woman that this hasn't worked out. It's because I am black. It's because I'm African. It's because I'm young. Okay, fine. Maybe I can't use the young card anymore. It's because I have never used that. I have never used any tags or labels that most people would use to explain why they're victimized and why to justify why, they stay at the low level of manifestation, of growth that they are at. I never use that. There are things I hear and see that cut deep, but I say, you know what? If it's to be, it's up to me. I fell there. I lost millions of dollars there. I lost that relationship. I lost that contract. I didn't get that job. What didn't I do right? And I go learning, and I get input, and I get coaches and mentors, and I ask my husband to assess me, and I'm learning new things, and forever looking to grow in position. This is what we need to do. And I'm telling you, I have done that, and I've packaged it in these books. And I'm not trying to get you to buy my books to make me money. If I wanted to make a lot of money from these books, guys, I would be selling them myself. They're on Amazon, and Amazon takes the lion's share. But it is practical for me right now. The model that I have and the arrangement with Amazon works for me right now, so that they can get to you on time. And I don't have to worry about it, because I don't have that team and capability at the moment to be able to get them out to everybody. So it's not, oh, Modesta, here you are doing a whole video so we can put money in your pocket. Yes, you will put money in my pocket, and I'm grateful. But this is not why I'm doing this. It wasn't for money in my pocket that I started doing this 16 years ago. It wasn't for money in my pocket that I went to management team, senior management, and I pleaded. I made the business case, but I also pleaded that we need to invest in the supply of people that we get. We need to invest in the educational system so that people can have the workforce skills the market actually demands. Not the GPAs, which are also good. Not necessarily that you got A's in Form 4 and Form 6, high school, and then you did well at school. But because, people are creative thinkers, that they problem solvers, that they think 360, they think like owners, they think the business, not just their job description, not just their silo, that people go over and beyond the call of duty. Not because somebody's breathing down their neck, but because they're intrinsically motivated by purpose, intrinsically motivated by excellence. They pay attention to detail, that they want to better their best every single time. These are the skills that people are looking for. People who are bold and courageous to come out and say, this isn't working right now. Let's pivot this. Let's do it differently. How about this? I don't think this is the right timing. I don't think this is the right messaging. I don't think this is the right branding. This is the marketplace. We want to put this way. People have, they have an appreciation of things differently. They see things differently. People like that, people who truly add value. And that is the value that organizations look for. Not just as an employee, even in business. It is not enough that you have a business and you have a business card. You need to go over and beyond. Somebody asked me yesterday, I've just written books. I'm like, then publish, self-publish on Amazon. She said, yeah, but does it sell? Would it actually really sell, Modesta? I said, like anything else, you don't just create it and say, will it sell? It sells if you sell it. It sells if you market it. It sells if you promote it. Even I wouldn't sell. You guys wouldn't even come and watch me if I wasn't a person who said what I can offer, who showed what I can offer, who consistently delivered on what I can offer. And so it's not enough that you write a book and say, if I put it at the book, at the bookstore, will it sell? Do all the books at the bookstore sell? Maybe those that, have topics that are really relevant to people would sell most without even much marketing. Maybe those of authors who people know to be doers and to be deliverers of results would sell. So it's not just enough that you have a business. You need to know what else you need to do to position your business in the marketplace, to go over and beyond just offering that product or service. I have packaged all of these in these books, and I'm asking you to invest in yourself. Africa is going to be the leading economic region in the world. There is no question. But whether you and I are going to be in the driver's seat of that ascent, going to be in leadership and in influencing the market, influencing government, influencing opportunities and opening up financial sector to the marginalized, whether that is we're going to be part of any of that depends on us, depends on me, Modesta. And I want to tell you this. I am at peace. I can answer to my God, to my grandchildren, that I have done all that I can. I have recruited, I have trained, I have written books, I have sat on boards, I've influenced policy, I am coaching people, leaders. I have done, as one woman, up to now, before I'm even 40 years old, I have done all that I can to say, this is the way, guys, let's go. I am not worried when their foreigners are coming to my country. I am not worried that other people will set up businesses that are similar to mine, even if they're global brands. Because I know me, and I'm forever developing, continuously learning, continuously developing myself so that I can stay on top of my game. And I've carved out a niche for myself that I know I can always reinvent myself, that I can always grow, and that I will always have clientele for. And you need to do the same. And these are in these books that I've written. So buy those books, whether it is for yourself or you go to Purpose and Excellence Africa and go to Market Activated and actually be a partner with us to get these books out to as many professionals as we can on the continent. Please join me in this. It's not about enriching one woman, because by the grace of God on my life, I will become extremely wealthy anyway. It is about the fact that it is not enough for one person to take off on their own. We need to come out together. We need to rise up together. We need to get wealthy together. We need to have influence together. We need to have impact together. Africa has to be the best practice, the center of excellence, the example for the continents, for the centuries that are coming up. Yesterday, my daughter Jedediah said, "Mommy, I'm going to be an author like you." She had cut out little pieces of paper. She had drawn something and written. And this one human being already aspires for greater things. And what does she aspire to do? She aspires to get what is on her mind and share with other people so that they too can grow, so that they too can blossom. I have been imparting, and I want to continue imparting to you. But nobody can champion your cause. Nobody can ask and want your success like you. In the age of information, we cannot afford to be ignorant. If you're at the bottom right now, it is by choice, but you can start 2020 differently. You can start it with purpose. You can start it with a master plan. You can start it understanding how to position yourself. If you're looking for work, whether you're starting out or you're growing, into higher levels, into management, you can do your business well by considering all the things that I hadn't considered that can save you time, money, and unnecessary pain. Do this for yourself. Do this for your child. Do this for your brother or sister. Do this for that relative that keeps coming to you and asking for money because they don't know what else to do. And sometimes people just don't know what to do. They've done all that they know to do. It's not like, people are just sitting there, they're lazy. They've done all they know to do. But what they know to do doesn't cut it. It is not enough. And so that's why people like me are saying, so this is what it takes then. I see your efforts. I see you. I see how much you're invested. I see how much you want to come out and how much your family depends on you coming out. And how much you actually want to lift others as you climb. But you find that you keep hitting this brick wall and you're not succeeding. I see you. And this is what it takes. This is what you're not doing right. This is where you're missing out. This is something that you can tweak just slightly. This is what to consider when you're doing what you're doing. Get these books. Go to Amazon. And you can check out Modesta Maika Mbuguni and you'll see all the books I've written. Or you can go to purposeandlexons.africa and you'll see the books there. And if you'd like to not just get them for yourself, you can also get them, for other people. Or you can buy some for a library or for a school. Then join us on this campaign. It's called Market Activated. You will go and see on purposeandlexons.africa, there is a tab called Market Activated, and join that partnership to get these resources out to as many Africans as we can. Thank you so much for watching me. I have a session right now and I have to go, but it's been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spending this time, investing in you, sharing my life, sharing my ups and downs. And guys, I also share the downs, and putting to pen and publishing these books so that we can climb up together. Because I don't want you guys hitting my car and hitting my house when I'm doing well. I don't want you guys calling me a corrupt. No. You guys would have seen exactly what I did to get there. And you guys will remember, and I hope your consciences get to, you will remember that for decades, Modesta has been calling out to us. This is the way. Come, do it. This is the way to do it. This is the way to walk. You will remember, your own conscience will speak to you when your grandchildren are asking you, why are we where we are? What did you do? Look at me now. I'm not making you feel guilty. I'm not making you feel guilty to get these books, because you can also go on my YouTube and you can watch the YouTubes. You can also look at all the lives I've created. But I'm saying you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your generations. You owe it to this continent to be great. So go out there and be great. Get these books. Start now with Purpose and a Masterplan. You need this for this season as you're preparing for the new year. 32 Steps, Career Success in a Life of Significance, and the African Entrepreneur Startup Checklist. Get them on Amazon and be great. And listen, after you finish reading them, share them with other people, unless you've scribbled on them, because there's books that you scribble on. Okay, fine, unless you've scribbled on them and it's private, don't share them. But I would recommend, once you're done with the book, don't leave it on your shelf. Share it. Give it to other people so that as many that surround you as can are elevated. Because I'm telling you, one day it'll bite you on the behind when you're the only one who's looking at things a certain way, who's elevated a certain place, and the people around you are not. You want to grow. You want everybody around you to rise up with you. You'll thank me later on that one. I love you guys. Thank you so very much. I've got a coaching session right now. Gotta go. Anything you want to say to me, please DM me or send me an email on info@purposeandlexons.africa. It's been wonderful. It's always wonderful being with you. Hey, Benson, I see you too. And Rita, thank you for joining. Bye.